Whenever he meets one of his sister, he would lift them up and all of those exciting moments. And he took that into the marriage. When children start to come the same way it was until today, he's just the same. And that has been keeping us.
So you say he lifts you up? But let us journey a little further.
Yes.
But out of this relationship now and marriage, quantum leap, so you've multiplied. I don't know, it's appropriate. Share a little bit with us about your current family.
I started to have children at age 29.
Okay.
So Brandon, and then 5 years later, Janelle came about.
Yeah.
Actually, can I say I didn't want to have children? No. But I mean, Timon coming from a very large family.
Wanted 6.
I love this interesting kind of
George laughed at that one.
116 and 1 wants not.
So Brandon is presently married. Have a son. February is coming up. And February, the little boy will be 3, Jethro. And also next week, Saturday, Sunday, he's going to be having his second son. Right.
What?
Right.
The family's growing on that side
Right.
here.
And Janelle is now proposed and will be getting married in June. So we will reach to the emptiness. So I'm very grateful that we are still in love, because I don't know what we'll do at this point.
Yes, we being still in love with you and Timon, because the birds are leaving the nest.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? So, 2 producing more. You wanted to win on that?
Well, I just want to add to that from the children point of view, I really am grateful and thankful to God for giving us 2 wonderful children. They both are committed to the Lord and serving God in different capacities. And God has also been very good to us and would have blessed us that they have been able to go through school and completed university. And I'm grateful to God for that.
Yes.
One thing I can also remember that I would have said to them both, that notwithstanding the time that we now live in, I don't think you need to have a boyfriend and a girlfriend, etc.
I see you want to say should not have sex before.
But
No, that's not. I'm saying there's no need for a boyfriend, a commitment to a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Yes.
Until you have reached the age and status where you are contemplating marriage.
Okay.
So if you're not ready for marriage, you're not ready for a girlfriend.
You told your...
Yes, I told them that. I would have used the analogy to both of them that if you are 12 years old, for example, or 13, 14, and you see a car that you like, even if you have the money then, you don't go and buy that car and park it for 4 or 5 years until you get a driver's license and drive it. Because it is very likely by the time you get to the age where you now have a driver's license, there is another car that you like better, and you are stuck with one that you like 4 years ago, which you took on and parked and invested in. And I used that analogy and said to them, have all the friends that you want. Explore life, have the friends, but don't make any commitment to any girlfriend or boyfriend relationship until you are at an age and status where you can consider marriage. And for the most part, I think that they would have, to a great extent, followed that example. And I'm grateful to God for that.
Yes.
But as you talk about the sex,
Yes.
every mother, I think every mother, when the child reaches a certain age, you don't want to tell them, oh, you're now at this age and you shouldn't have sex. And Timon had a different view. He believes that you teach the child what they should do, but not what they mustn't do. So in telling them about not having sex, he didn't want me to go down that road with them. So I didn't go down the road with them about telling them that they're not at the age, so they can't have sex and all of that. We teach them the word. We teach them what the word says, and that was how we raised them. Just teach them the word.
Right, so clearly, we know, and I've heard you have been the best parents you could have been to this. Now grown adults can't imagine getting married shortly. But anyhow, great job. And you said earlier, Mel, that they are having now moved out of the nest, it's empty. Talk to us as real people now about the quality marriage life that you have had. Because people see, people have a lot of things to you, but you want to speak empirically. How has it been for you as a wife of 29 years with this man who comes across as a saint?
Yes.
Yes, let the woman speak first.
Well, I don't think anybody's marriage will be like mine. For the 29 years, I've never heard Timon shouted.
Wow.
He has never raised his voice. I might have heard him raise his voice probably once to the children, but we have never had an argument that he raised his voice. I am probably the miserable one who would talk about something, but he never at any time would respond at that time. Probably a day or two after, he will say, are you ready now to talk?
Love it.
And then, it always makes me feel so bad.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's how he approached it. And that worked very well, very good. Over the 29 years, I think the most challenging part of the relationship was probably the first year. Just not able to understand him, or he able to understand me. So, very close-knit family. Every Saturday, I remember in the beginning, he would want to go by his parents, and I'm always saying, I'm not from that family, so why,
Yeah.
Again, he would just all over you with love. I never grew up where my grandparents would say, I love you, or give me a pat on the shoulder, or nothing like that. But over time, I realized that this is something that is natural. It's something that I have to do. I want to tell a little thing. It might not be a part, but I remember when he took me to meet his parents. So walking down into the yard, you could see, if the room is open, his mother's bedroom, you could see the bed. And I remember the day Timon just ran and just jumped on his mother, saying, where goes up? I've never seen that, And it showed me at that time, I could not understand. I didn't understand it then, to be very honest. It looked unreal.
Yes.
Because I just never see it. But then after marriage, it started to play out as to where this all came from. It was because of how close they are. Whenever he meets one of his sisters, he would lift them up and all of those exciting moments. And he took that into the marriage when I was there alone. When children start to come the same way it was until today, he's just the same. And that has been keeping us.
So you say he lifts you up?
Well, yes, and even in my larger state,
Yes.
I've lost some weight.
Yes.
So I remember when I had a stroke, and I was very fat then, and he told me, I don't know, that, well, we were both at home alone, and he had to lift me up to put me into the vehicle. So, yes.
Even at that. Well, we are going to talk about that stroke as we journey and the miracle and the support. But not to be outdone. So you have been finding this marriage as exciting, I know, as much as she has in terms of the quality relationship.
I'll do it all over again.
You do it all over again?
Yeah.
After 25 years, 29
29
years.
Yes.
So yeah, making sure I'm getting correct. After 29 years.
Yes.
Well, you give us a verse on that too.
I think a good place to start is right there. And yes, I'll do it all over again.
Sweet.
But I could describe myself as a humble man of simple ways.
Yes.
And I often say to people that it's not the great and glamorous things of life that I go after. And I really find more fulfillment not in what I get, but what I give. And one of my key verses in the Bible, and well, I said it earlier, that's all I know, the Bible. And what the Bible says and what the Word says is what orders my life, not more. So Philippians chapter 2 and verse 4 says that, and if I paraphrase, that we should not think of ourselves first, but consider others better than ourselves. So that's another way of saying put others before you. Scripture said it is more blessed to give than to receive. And that is where I genuinely find my fulfillment. So my approach is to give and really not so much expecting to receive.
Yeah.
And as such, and I remember when we were courting, if you want to use that term. Time within that 6 months period, so to speak.
Yes.
This I remember saying to her that I am going to sure to make you happy. I'll do everything I can to make you happy, and that's what has been,
Yes, never fall short of it.
That has been my focus.
Lived up to that.
To do all that I can so that she can be happy, and that is what brings me fulfillment.
Can I ask one question though, as it relates to, so I listened to both of you and I said, again, I go back to the difference in upbringing and background, and as Melonia said earlier, she wasn't used to being necessarily loved, and and that is so relatable. So how did you, as her husband, dealt with that whole sometimes feeling rejected or not as overwhelmed with the love and the kisses? Did you have to deal with that?
Yes, but like I said, I found out that in that respect, romantic and hug and kiss, she wasn't necessarily that type of person. For me, it wasn't really an issue. It was just to understand the person that she is. And once I understand who she is, and it is more understanding the intent of the action.
Okay.
And once I could have understood the intent, then it wasn't an issue.
Okay.
Because my mission in this relationship wasn't necessarily to satisfy my needs. It was more seeking how can I satisfy her needs.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't an issue. I just wanted to understand.
Yes.
And once I understood, I'm good.
Right.
Well, in the words of Miles Monroe, he speaks to the woman like a garden, and essentially saying that as husbands we need to know how to keep the garden, to till the soil, to prune the trees, and essentially what you're putting is what you get out. So, like I said, you had a mission which was to be towards her, but I'm sure you have over these years felt how it reciprocated to you, the fulfillment, I'm sure, in the relationship.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes.
Well, Nats, you may want to, because
Yes, so I want to journey a little bit on the professional side, because we know both of you are doctors, have your doctorate. I want to know, first of all, to share with our viewers, because I know that must have been a task, a heavy burden for both of you to be studying. First of all, what is your what was your doctoral degrees in?
Well, mine is clinical psychology.
okay.
And
Applied chemistry.
Yes.
So it's extreme.
the man
Yeah.
is not ordinary. Applied chemistry.
I'm telling you,
Oh my goodness.
we're not finished. We're to go into all the details of
Yes.
their thing. But if we're following up on Natalie, so perhaps just highlight as we move on, what are some of the places, whether your ultimate doctoral degree or let's say your journey in the career path of your own life. Just give us a synopsis of that.
Ladies first.
Yeah.
Synopsis of getting
Not,
at the
well, this
doctor.
is your ultimate, but perhaps you were involved in other things before.
So I started out with a love of always want to be an accountant. Always. That was my dream leaving high school. So I was always doing account courses. Then Doves, I went to Doves and I started ACCA, I did AAT and the whole works of it. So I work with JPS first as an inventory clerk, so in accounts. Then I move on to Water Commission, where I used to work in revenue account. And at Water Commission now, at that time, I was a pastor. And one day I was sitting at my desk and I don't know if it was the Spirit or what. But something just came over me and says, count money a day and people in the night. So, And I pondered about it. And I said, you know what, I think I'm going to change what I'm doing. And then I went to JTS and I just switched.
And that switch was more long.
So I switched, So I switched, and because I was a pastor, then I went JTS to the most pastoral courses, and then I loved the counseling part of it, so I went on to the masters to do counseling psychology, and then after that I did a doctoral in clinical psychology.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Good. There you are.
I love people, and I love to help people. I think about wholesomeness, so I just wanted to help people. Now, when I think about accounts, it never offered me that. I wasn't able to do that, what I wanted in my heart to do.
Yes.
So hence the switch, and I find satisfaction and fulfillment in it.
Great. Yes, Timon.
Yes.
Applied
Chemistry.
chemistry. Wow.
Well, where should I start? It's been a long. It's been a long journey.
Coffee boy, this man has authentic smell of coffee.
It's been a long journey, but let me just say quickly. In school, generally from primary school, and I'll take you back maybe and give you a quick journey. From growing up, I went to Rockall all-age school. I never go to school on a Friday. On a Friday, I went to the market to sell with my parents. Mm-hmm. For the most part, not every single one, but quite a bit. I did, at the time, the common entrance, and I passed. And I went to Meadowbrook High School. Mm-hmm. And frankly, having gone to school and gone to classes, go home and do homework and study, I never knew what that was. Because when I go home, it is to help my father in the field or take care of the animals or something. So I just go to school, do the work, and that's it. That's school for me. Mm-hmm. And then I went to Meadowbrook High School. In high school now, it became a little different. I went to school on Fridays, but after school finished at 1, I would go downtown and help my parents in the market on a Friday. Studying and those things wasn't much either. Maybe until I got to O-levels at the time. Did my O-levels and went on to sixth form, went to A-levels, went to university of the West Indies. Did a degree in pure and applied chemistry. And from there, and all of this, if I may at this time, all of this is, and in retrospect, looking back at it, is not any career path that I could say, I love this, I want it to be this. I have lived my life, and even up to today, a day at a time. And just walking into any door that the Lord opened up for me. So even when I went into university, I didn't know what I was going to do at university. Right?
Study.
I just walk in whatever door the Lord opened up. And I'll tell you, I'll share this quickly. In my final year at university, or second year, it was a 3-year program. Second year going into final year, I failed one subject. And in order to graduate, I would have to do applied chemistry in order to get the amount of points to matriculate.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that I planned for applied chemistry. It was that in order to matriculate, or I'd have to do another year. So I went to the dean and explained everything, and in a class that admitted no more than 16 students, they accepted me. And that was the most sought after course in the department. You had like 200 applications and they chose 16. So you're correct, applied chemistry chose me. And so I did that and was able to graduate. I left university in June, final exam in June of the year. And even before I got my results, I started working at the Coffee Industry Board. Did an interview maybe in the May, because they came on campus, did the interview. And I got called and started the 11th of August, 1986. At the Coffee Industry Board, I worked in various positions. And it so happened that Coffee Industry Board wanted to do some research on coffee. And so it turned out that they had a joint approach with the university. I was selected. And whilst doing that, the professor at the university said, but what you're doing here could be a PhD program. So it encouraged me to enroll for a PhD. I enrolled for it, and it's never that I had planned to go and do a PhD or wanted to. It just happened, and that is how that PhD came about. And I have basically worked at the Coffee Industry Board for 24 years. Whilst there, Coffee Industry Board again needed a quality manager. I offered to be that person, got training in quality management, and then having left the Coffee Industry Board in 2009, I have been consulting in that area of quality and environmental management. And that's it.
You have traveled the world almost.
Wow.
I remember on one occasion that your wife told me correctly that Timon had the ability to smell coffee and perhaps could give a good indication of where in the world this coffee came from.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know. Well, here we are. What can I say? I can only but say thanks to you, Timon and Melonia, for joining us on set, journeying from your inception, your own family, to where we have closed out, and so much more. I'm sure your contribute at disposal that persons wanting to even engage you, to tap into you. You're there. From my heart to yours, fully appreciate. Thanks,
Thank
Amelia.
you so much too.
Yes, thank you.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Indeed.
So I want to really thank Timon and Melonia for joining us on set. It has really been a tremendous journey. I want to thank our sponsor, Mattox Health and Fitness. I want to implore to our viewers to continue to watch and send your comments. We appreciate the feedback. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at New Foundation Christian Ministries. Follow us on Facebook at New Foundation Christian Ministries and on Instagram at B1 Marriage Ministry. Thanks to our resident producer George Malcolm Walker and Damian De Aguilar. Thank you. See you next time. Goodbye.